What's up, y'all? It's your boy Liv, back here with the Black Male Geniuses podcast, or Liv's Black Male Geniuses podcast, part 4. Here with Charles. Say what's up, Charles.
What's up, everybody?
And we are live from the UAE, Dubai. And so we just out here just shooting the shit. And as y'all know, I'm from Durham, North Carolina. I've been here since July 30th. If you've been following me and stuff, I appreciate you doing that. And it's been a crazy ride. It's been cool. And just met him actually like a couple days ago. And he's actually one of my teammates. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, he's from Colorado. You want to tell him a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I was born in Colorado, lived in Southern California for about 20 years, lived in Oregon for 3 years, lived in South Carolina for 7 years, lived out in the UAE for 5. So I just I go where I can, man. I go where I follow the opportunity. Home is where you hang your hat.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
Facts.
So
yeah, so shout out to the Bull City. I'm gonna throw it up. Always gonna be from there. And Houston, Texas definitely is like one of my second homes. So yeah, here we anti-PC. We just talk we just talk. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired of this. PC. Everybody gotta be PC. No, like this is reality. You know what I'm saying? We just gotta talk about whatever. So that's what we're gonna do. We giving this masculine energy, this alpha energy. We giving it to you straight, no chase. How you feel about that?
well, I'm a white single male, so white straight male, so I'm out, guys. Sorry.
Exactly.
White straight male, gotta be out.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but yeah, our first talking point, we were talking about the differences between, and from his perspective, then I'm gonna tell you mine, because he's been here 5 years.
Yeah.
And so, talking about the differences between being a black male in America and here. And from his perspective, I'm gonna let him go first, and he can touch on whatever. So go for it.
The closest thing I can even get to is from a third-person party, because I'm obviously not black. Shocker. But I have had very close black friends out here, and they're some of the best dudes I've known. They've helped me out, I've helped them out, and it's a very close-knit military circle that we come from, that we all work subcontracted out here. So just to really kind of touch on the topic of not really get into kind of every detail, I think the main point is that there are certain things that are very pro and con for the US and very pro and con for the UAE. If you have a trade, a skill, a craft, you're obviously going to be getting paid much more out here than you would in the States. So much of the smaller things that my friends didn't have to worry about, randomly getting pulled over, randomly getting stopped, being profiled, all these things that do happen. And also too, the benefit of being a black male in the United States is having much more of the smaller freedoms. Whatever device you have, whatever things you want to do, it's more readily at the available. Now this place is still young, so give it time. She's only been around since the 60s or 70s, I want to believe.
But it's going fast.
But it's going very fast because the way that this country has been made is it's Emirati, but it was British funded and helped kind of influence the ways to kind of get it off the ground. But they take the best of each system from each and every single expat culture. So I think the thing is that it's much more of a different cultured mindset that people have in their head. Everyone thinks it's the Middle East. This place is the Cadillac of the Middle East. There's not as many of the peculiarities you got to worry about. Everything is also at the ready. Delivery services, everything here you could possibly have. So I think from my perspective of seeing it, the black male, the black female isn't going to be subjugated on a mass scale than you guys would feel. Because also too, you got to understand, there's also so many expats here. There's also a lot of people from Africa as well, different countries in Africa. So there is a pool of success that you can harness here, but again, you have to be proactive and not reactive. So that's just my take real quick.
Okay. So you're hearing it from somebody else. I mean, I don't know why y'all act like I don't know what I'm talking about, and I'm, bruh, I'm giving it to you straight, no chase. If you've been watching me since 2015 when I first got on YouTube, or even before that, when I first jumped on Facebook, probably 2009, maybe further than that, when I started traveling and everything. So I started traveling to Canada in 2013, and then I started making travel videos in 2015. So you've heard me talk about the differences. Every time I come home, I got somebody talking about, oh, you don't know what they're talking about. Bruh. Okay? Really? Like, that annoys me. Because that's like, I just left the bathroom before I came here. Oh, no, you ain't go to the bathroom. What was I just floating in outer space? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, was I in an alternate universe?
Yeah.
No. But I also understand that, though, because when you just haven't experienced it yourself, like a lot of you at home, maybe you may not have your passport, maybe you haven't traveled, maybe you have a lot of justifications or whatever, but I've been telling y'all for a while, get your passport, you're going to use it. You know what I'm saying? And I got a few people that's been telling me, hey, about to travel. I know some friends, that have traveled. But when you get to experience it firsthand, it's totally different than seeing me do it. And you can do it. You know what I'm saying? So, I just learned so much. Me traveling and having these podcasts with, nice men such as Charles is about learning. It's not about clout chasing. It's not about, getting people to like me. It's not about none of that stuff. It's about getting the information out and being the best I can be and helping my friends and new friend be the best we can be.
COVID pending, of course. Yeah. COVID pending.
Yeah, we social distancing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. See, 6 inches right there.
So that's pretty much it. I mean, I've been to 18 countries. I've been to a lot of places in Europe. I'm planning on going to Africa and stuff, and South America and all over the world. But it's cool to be in Asia. I never thought I'd be living in Asia first. You know what I'm saying? I have my ups and downs. Yeah. But I think that I'm glad that I went to Europe first because now I have something to compare it to. But yeah, as far as being, a black male here, I found that people just take me more serious. Mm-hmm. Like, when I'm in America, it's like, no, you ain't shit. You ain't shit. And it's like, and even from my own kind of, you ain't shit. Because of the narrative, and I talk about this all the time. I'm a meteorologist. I went to school for that. Like, I'm always going to be that, whether I'm working in the field or not. Okay? Like, they take that seriously over here. You know what I'm saying? And it's just because there isn't that racism like it is in America. And the chains on the mind like there is in America or even among black folk. They want us divided. We were just talking about that. But that's my biggest thing is like people want to be taken seriously. When I say I want to be a fucking millionaire, that's what I mean. And I don't mean that to say like just for that, but I'm going for the dream, not the fame. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I feel. And I'm not saying people aren't behind me back home. I see y'all. I see y'all support me. But it's like a general undercurrent of you can't do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's motivation. So that's what I'm saying.
Well, I think a large portion of it as well that kind of undercuts the whole topic of saying that people want to travel, and it's across the board in the States. And really it just comes down to, priorities. Right. You know what I mean? I know that everybody has a smartphone. It's the way of the now. Like, you cannot have a job without having a smartphone to get a hold of your boss or letting them know I got to do this job, et cetera, et cetera. But certain things you don't have to buy now. You don't have to get a PS5. You don't have to get Jordans. You don't have to get all these things. They're nice things. They're nice things. I totally understand. I mean, I like to have nice shoes. I like to have these nice things. But again, I also, it just comes down to a matter of living within your means. And that is the biggest thing. So if your income is, say, just off the rip, just say $1,000, you're not going to be able to go out and buy a PS5. Mm-hmm. You're going to have to struggle. I've been in the struggle before. I've had to do it. It sucks, but guess what? If you keep on the grind, it's going to eventually pay off.
Yes.
So again, when I see, and this is the biggest one, this is the biggest one, is tax returns. Everybody gets so crazed up about how, oh man, I can't wait for my tax return to come back, I'm going to get all this, and that. Yes, pay your bills, of course, but everything else that you want
materially,
to get, you don't need. And this is the biggest thing. So I have a big three, right? So, do I want it? That always usually falls into it. Do I need it? And can I live without it? So unless all three of those line up, I'm not going to get it. Or if it does, I'll get it. You know what I mean? Like, oh no, my phone's broke. I have to get it for work. Do I want it? Yes. Do I need it? Yes. And can I live without it? Unfortunately, this is the time of the digital age. Unfortunately, no. So that's when I make the purchase.
Yes.
These are the cognitive things that we need to make as a people. Whether or not black and white, it's just about success that we're talking about.
Right.
And as far as priorities go, getting back to the topic at hand of taxes, instead of spending money on things that you don't need, you can live without, spend that extra $180 to $225 on a passport. Obviously, like we've said, COVID pending, I get it. But the thing is that I also hang my hat on the fact that I've been to every state in the U.S. except for 6 states, and I think Vermont, Connecticut, and a couple others, Alaska and Hawaii, which are the big ones. But other than that, I've seen what's been seen in the states. One of my favorite southern states is actually Nashville, Tennessee.
Music City.
Music City. I love it. It's beautiful. It's awesome. But there are a lot of cool places and cool niches as far as everything goes.
Right.
California used to be cool back in the day. There's a lot of things you can't do anymore. But getting back, again, is priorities is the biggest one, because once you put those into the scope of things, then you can really kind of get kind of tunnel vision in focusing all your energy on something. And just like you were saying, right? It's not even a sense of like just trying to say that you've been to a country and you're naming names to name drop. It's also about, you kind of gain a different perspective on the human life. You gain a different perspective on how people think and how people tick. And it does make you kind of evaluate the world in a different sense, because the cool thing about here is that it's not just, I've met people from the UK and the US and, local Emiratis. I've got friends from all walks of life, which is crazy. And it's like each one of them. I've had friends from, the Congo, Tunisia, all these places, Egypt, all these places, man. It's just, it's amazing, because what it does is it literally makes your mind grow outside of something that is just so within this comfort box.
Yeah.
So I think that's the main thing, is priorities have to be met in order for you to get to something that you want to have. Seeing other countries, but you got to break outside the mold of everything that you're doing that isn't changing it.
And also what everybody else is doing. You want to know where you're going to be in 5 years? Look at your friends. I heard that. And I'm glad you touched on that, because, I had some ups and downs. I'm not ashamed of any of them, because I made a sacrifice. Where am I at right now?
Right.
I'm living in Dubai right now. Right. So, and I'm working on my goals. This is dreams never die. This ain't dreams never try. You know what I'm saying? So I think that once we, specifically as black people, we start to realize that intelligence is not white. I hate that shit. Intelligence is intelligence. Once we start setting the bar higher, we will become better. And I'm not saying we don't do things right. Yeah, that's cool. But the reason why I call this Black Male Geniuses is because it starts with us, black men in the black community. It starts with us. We got to stop being dysfunctional with us first. And everything else will follow suit. You know what I'm saying? So what you do now will affect you in the future. I chose to go through the sacrifices I did so I could see myself in another country to live. That's my 5-year plan. I created that. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be able to look long term, and we got to start making excuses. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. Like I get it, I get it. But you have to be around people with a similar mindset of where you want to go, because it will pull you back into this same. And I'm not saying mediocre to talk down, but I'm saying it will pull you back into a life that you do not want to be in. If I want to be around a millionaire, I got to get millionaire mentors.
Yep.
And I have one.
Yep.
I have 2. Okay? Birds of a feather flock together.
Yep.
When I told him about my dreams, he was like, all right, let's do this. Boom, I got this, boom, boom. I ain't gonna tell you all the details right now.
Yep.
I'm just saying. So those are the kind of people that you need to be around. Not people that telling you you can't do nothing. You can't do it, because eventually you're gonna start to believe them. And if you don't believe them, they'll be like, oh, well, you got this problem, you got that problem. No, you don't have the problem, you just focused on something else. And that's okay. But, what he touched on was so true. And the flight here is a little long, it's like 14 hours, but you can stop in the Netherlands or stop in Africa. You can stop different places. You don't have to do it in one full swath. I plan on coming back in the summertime. So to see some of my friends and everything, whatever. But what I notice every time I come back, and that means I've came back 4 times so far, I feel like on my brain because of the racism and because of the overall uptightness of the country, right? I feel like here some things are more strict, but in America I feel like immediately that I'm looked at as less than. Immediately. And that's what I feel every time I come back, and I think it hits me harder every single time I come back. And one of the biggest reasons I left, I was like, man, Durham, North Carolina gonna be there when I get back. It ain't going nowhere. Charlotte gonna be there. Yep. NBA gonna be there. NFL gonna be there. It's gonna be there.
Yep.
People gonna be doing the same stuff. So why am I not over here with the G-Wagon Brabusses? I didn't even know what a G-Wagon Brabus was before I came here. I want one of them hoes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like gadgets. I'm like Iron Man. That's the Punisher, by the way. So he's the Punisher. I'm Iron Man / Hulk. But we'll get to that later. But just see something different. And I know some people are writing stuff. I can't really see it from here, but I'll get to that in a second. So if you're in the building, what's happening? So
I think it is a.
I'm listening.
No, you're good. I think it is a touching point as far as everything goes with what you're saying. There are, and this is kind of going back to what we said as far as the pros in the USA, is that you've already seen an African American president, which is the highest level of power.
Right.
You've seen black surgeons, you've seen black sheriffs, you've seen all this progressive things. So I think what you're trying to say is that let's make this more of a norm. Let's make this a norm. Not make this a thing where it's like a special first time thing. If you make it a norm, that means that now there's more progressivism in certain communities. And it doesn't even have to just be black, it doesn't have to be white, it doesn't have to be Asian. Why not all of it? You know what I mean? I think what you were saying, which is a good thing, is that to be honest, if you come up to me, I'm a very open person, I'm very blunt, and I'm very willing to help people that are willing to help themselves.
Right.
People that are willing to help themselves.
Right.
Because there are some people out in the world where you try to help them and all they'll do is take the handout and then do nothing with it. See, now, if there's certain levels of help, there's two forms. And the biggest thing is that you're going to have somebody that's going to help someone and expect something in return. Well, the problem with that is that you're not always going to get the result that you want.
Right.
So, it's kind of like what Deion Sanders says, expect to be disappointed. And that's prime time. I love prime time.
I love prime
time.
I love
But and then there's people that are willing to help without anything in return. Now that is what we call paying it forward. And I think that is the biggest thing that everyone watching should definitely keep tabs on. Because the problem I had before 2021 hit and once 2020 ended is that everyone makes a New Year's resolution. I don't believe in New Year's resolutions. I believe in changing habits. Changing habits means that you're changing everything that you're doing that isn't working and finding a way, constantly evolving, constantly doing something that's going to get you to that point where you're just not quite at the tier, so you change it up, you go down a little bit, and then you go up.
They don't want to do that though. A lot of people don't want to go down a little bit.
This is also why we're doing the video too. So the main focal point of it is that you have to find certain habits that are going to be beneficial to you. not having hey man, I'm smoking a vape. I do it every so often. I'm actually kind of weaning myself off because, again, it's not a cost-effective bill that I need to have. It's not something I need to have. So again, I'm getting rid of all that shit. And the problem with it is that before 2021 hit, everyone said, well, I hope that 2021 is going to bring a better year. You can't expect a digit to change your outcome. Only you, the individual, can change your own outcome. You are the keeper of your own destiny and your own fate. Period. So again, if there's anyone that's ever going to be to blame for anything in your own life, the quicker you start to look internally rather than point the finger externally, you'll slowly start to realize, oh my God, I've got to change. This is what I need to change up. These are the certain things that I need to change up. And it's through life experiences, and it's through all these things where you talk to different people.
And failure.
And failure is the greatest teacher in life. Failure is the greatest teacher. Because when you fail, it's going to tell you you've reached your limit. But how strong is your character going to be as far as what you do then? If you get knocked down, what are you going to do? Are you going to sit there and lay in the sand and say how much it sucks? You can. It's up to you. But, again, the main thing is that it's all about changing your habits. And I think, these things that we're talking about as far as, not just pointing blame at everything, because, the USA is still our home, and, she's not perfect. She's not perfect, but it's still home. You know what I mean? But I think right now, what you're saying is that this place has a breeding ground for opportunity. And it's still a growing country. It is very well influenced with Western culture meets Eastern culture. And it does have a means of so much more potential that it can actually be better than what it is now. So, saying that, this place can be open for breeding grounds for people that are looking for opportunity. And it doesn't always have to be at home.
Right.
That's the thing that people need to realize, is that there's other opportunities out there. I knew a guy who actually lived in Oregon, and he decided he was going to come out here. And he did. Taylor Abbott. He actually played on our football team. Good dude, solid dude.
Yeah.
Solid dude.
Yes.
And he was a black male. He made his opportunity. He saved up his money. He played American football. He had a great nightlife. And the thing is that people realize that, what's there to do out there? There's tons of things to do. You're centrally located to go to every country. Now, COVID pending, I understand. This is all before COVID hit. But you are close enough to travel for pennies to the Durham, to go to Egypt, to go to Oman, to go to Europe.
It's the trade capital of the world, y'all.
Trade
capital of the world. There's a reason why it's called the trade capital of the world.
And there's beach resorts all over that are riddled around here. And some of the best beach resorts I absolutely love, because there's nothing better than finding your inner Corona and just sitting on a beach and enjoying it, right? There's hundreds and thousands of people from damn near, 100 and some odd, 26 or 27 countries or something, 186 countries. I can't remember the number, but it's astronomical.
Everybody.
Right? So you get to meet all kinds of people. And some of the guys I've met are from Cameroon. And these guys are built like absolute brick shit houses. Some of the nicest guys you've ever met. And they're just so kind, and they're so forthright to, just talk to you and be kind and just, hey man, I need you to love. But anyways, the point being is that there is so many opportunity, not just financially, but spiritually and culturally. So that's kind of what we're trying to touch on. We're giving you the tools so that way you can kind of understand that this place isn't your, everything that makes it out on the news. Like the UAE is
Western
not
news.
Yeah, the UAE is not Afghanistan, it's not Iran, it's not Iraq, this place is the Cadillac of the Middle East.
Nice.
That's why it's trying to be copied. There's other places such as Saudi Arabia that's slowly trying to copy itself into this mode that the UAE has. The UAE's got Fight Island. Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier. That fight's going to be happening in Yas Island. I've been there tons of times. I've stayed at the same hotel that Connor's staying at, the W Hotel.
Is that going to be, that's where Yas Marina is, right?
That's
okay,
yeah.
okay, with Formula 1?
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't been there yet, but we're
yeah,
going to go.
it's really good.
Yeah.
There's tons of things to do all around. There's a lot of history, rich history in this country.
Royalty,
a lot of royalty. These guys know how to ball out here. You know what I mean? Like
for real,
gold on gold on gold. So you can get coffee with gold flakes. A lot of cool niche things. But again, I think the biggest thing is that everybody here kind of has an understanding as far as how to treat one another, which is nice. It's a really awesome quality. It's so simple and it sounds so dumb, but my goodness, it actually works. If I treat my fellow man with respect, chances are he just might return it and reciprocate that same quality.
Yeah. All that so much because I'm learning stuff too as he's talking now. Like we talk, and it's great. I like it. I like the rapid fire, and I didn't know about the gold flake shit. That's hard. That's hard. I think I would like. I think about my Brabus, but I want a Brabus that's white, but it got the different color flakes in it. But anyway, I'm thinking about different paint jobs. That's the south side of me. You dig? So, but there's so much he's touched on that is true. Like, we're human beings, and I feel like in America during COVID, everybody's trying to figure out where they're gonna get their next dime from, when they're gonna get their second stimulus.
And it's tough. It is tough.
Yeah,
it's totally tough.
And it is tough. I mean, I'm going through my own battles too. Everybody's going through their own battles, and I think that, like I always say all the time, you always can tell a person's character about how they treat someone that can do nothing for them.
Right.
And I think that the best thing about here is, like, people can be loaded. I ain't talking about loaded like in America. I'm talking about royalty. I'm talking about generations of wealth. I'm talking about, like, and it can be cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm talking about, like,
oil rich.
Oh, you know what I'm saying? So much, like, money so long to where you don't even have to be arrogant.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that much.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the kind of money that I'm trying to start off and build generational wealth because, people skills is universal.
Right.
People skills are universal. And so, like, if I notice, and for a little bit, I notice myself kind of getting into stuff in the States, and I come here and I'm like, I ain't really got no problem with nobody.
Right.
Then you got to change your environment. So those are some of the things that I've changed in my life. And, I feel like a lot of times, like, when it comes to jobs and stuff, you're overqualified and underqualified and side qualified. And it's like, bruh, like, can you just
subcategories?
Yeah, it's like, bruh, can I just work? You know what I'm saying? And so all these things will filter into the workplace and stuff like that. So, but without going into that, but I just feel like, it's hard to separate culture from life. And I think that a lot of the times we really do try to do that. But, like, having an American guys here that are here, they can really connect on a level that's dope. And even the people that can't, it can be a bridge. Like, for somebody that's been here for 5 years, it could be a bridge. Yeah. And can be can be a very good asset to the business that I'm trying to start. This is the L.I.V brand, and I'm starting to call it L.I.V the brand. But I'm getting there, and it's good to hear this information.
The good thing about it is that you start to see some cultures mix with a lot of American. Like the best example I'll say is for American football. You get guys from Syria, you get guys from Canada, you get guys from Iran, you get guys from all these different walks of life and stuff like that play the game here, which is really cool because, again, people want to flock to American culture. You know what I mean? We provide so much pop culture, music, movies, whatever the case may be. Everybody's always watching it. Everybody's always talking about it. It's the most copied country. And I'm not trying to toot the horn of the U.S., but, let's be real. It is what it is. So the greatest thing that I've noticed, too, is that when you bridge the gap with certain things, not being arrogant, not being ignorant about it, the biggest thing is that now that we've got guys that are from the U.K., American football is slowly moving its way out of the U.S. and into other countries. Now we have games in the U.K. Now we have Like you wouldn't believe it. I've actually played an American football game in Kazakhstan. Beautiful country. Played football in Kazakhstan. Really cool. There's football in Japan. Japan is very competitive, and Japan takes their sports very seriously on another spiritual level. But moving forward, the whole precipice of what I'm trying to say of the subject matter is that everything out here is an opportunity just waiting to explode. You know, the EGL, the EAFL, all these leagues, they're just waiting to explode because the market is still so closed off from American football. We're trying to slowly branch that out. And I mean, I've actually been to the WWE event out here, which was actually done very well. It was really cool. I've been to the World Ultimate Strongman out here. That was fun. Got to meet some really big guys and big name guys as well. There are tons of events out here. Anthony Joshua's out here. He's been out here. There's tons of guys that come out here all the time as well. Will Smith is another one. He's another big one. He always hangs out here. We actually had Tom Cruise come to our base and film for Mission Impossible.
Oh, yeah.
So it was on one of our jets. That's pretty cool to say that. So in saying so, and in doing so, is that us giving you the kind of knowledge that we can kind of bridge the gap for everybody back home in the U.S. or whoever is listening, is that there are tools that you can use to achieve opportunity. And the greatest advice my grandfather ever gave me was that if you're not getting your worth, get out, no matter what. If you're not getting your worth in anything, just get out completely. Because if you're not changing your situation and you're not changing your environment, expect the same thing. Because again, you're going to be disappointed. And if you keep doing the same thing and expecting different results, we all know the definition of it is insanity, right? So I think that's kind of the token that should be taken away from this, is that there are certain tools that you can, use. It's not a bad thing to ask people for help. I think that stigma needs to kind of get washed away slowly, because it's okay to be a strong alpha male. It's okay to, and it's all right to ask for help. There's a lot of successful people that asked for help and got where they are today. Walt Disney, dude made an empire in Disney. And you kept trying and finding different avenues, changing his habits, changing this up.
You can't do it alone. I think that's the thing in America, is like Americans feel like we got to do it by ourselves. I made it by myself.
Right.
I made it by myself. No, you didn't.
Right.
No, you didn't. You want to be born by yourself. Somebody had to birth you. Okay, like that's what I'm talking about. I had to have a lot of help to get here, and you know who you are. If you contributed to this in any way, I appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all know enough about my life up to this point. Okay, been homeless, like all sorts of stuff, mental health diagnoses, things like that. I'm not ashamed of none of that. You know what I'm saying? This is just life. Had a lot of help. You know what I'm saying? Help is okay. And I'm glad you said that. Because, even the pilot's got to fly the damn plane. You know what I'm saying? To get me over here in all the countries.
And it's got to get fixed in order to fly.
And it's got to get fixed. Thank you. It's connected. Everything is connected. This is why I always beat into y'all's head that I'm a scientist, is because when you have a scientific mindset, you realize every day that we need to explore and we need to get better to enhance humanity, but you also have a human connection to everything. Like you don't get lost in just the money, right? You really just get into the meat and potatoes of just what life is about. And I never get too caught up in the flash and the frill, even though I like to be flash and frill, whatever. That even my damn shirt is a galaxy, okay? You know what I'm saying? So just don't get caught up in that. I think that's an American culture thing. And it might have something to do with the fact we're 244 this year? 245 this year in July 4th. Yeah. So we're babies pretty much. But even here it's babies. But being almost 50 years, they've taken off.
Right.
And that's what I noticed. So just, some of the things you've learned, you know, when you travel, you really get to see a different perspective. And I'm actually reading a book that talks about the American psyche from one of my mentors, who's doing very well for himself. And, you know, I'm always trying to keep business and stuff going. But yeah, so, you know, just really understand that you're going to learn so much more by getting out of it. So, like, for example, if you're in a bathtub, you got a hot bathtub, and it's, you know, the door is closed, it's going to be foggy in there. The moment you step out of there, it's a totally different environment. You're going to have a different experience, right? So just a little something like that, like a little small science experiment like that is what I really like. The macrocosm and the microcosm. So, yeah.
You know, I think as well is that this place blowing up to the capacity that it's going is that you also walk a very fine line when something is booming, because there's going to be a potential drop in certain things and in certain areas. I think that the most brilliant thing about this country's history is that it was multiple emirates, or how we would know as states, were unified by the Sheikh Zayed, basically sitting down with and having tea. Not one person was killed by unifying, you know, this country, which I think is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Granted that we had to have a revolutionary war, a civil war.
Storm the damn Capitol.
Yeah, so it's pretty impressive. There's a lot of beauty and insight to it as far as this country goes. You know, the locals here, one of my best friends, Big Mo, he's one of my best friends, man. He's a really good, solid dude. He's just always happy and always, you know, just always smiling. I like to be around people like that. And that's another thing too, is that attitude is such a huge thing as far as who you surround yourself with. If you surround yourself with people that constantly say this sucks, and that sucks, it's a cancer. And it will spread unto you. And once it starts spreading unto you, then you start saying this sucks, and that sucks, and this sucks. So the more positive people you surround yourself with, you start to notice that, yes, the world isn't perfect, the world has ugly points to it, but you also kind of realize that there's a lot of beauty in it. There's a lot of, you know, essence that goes along with it in meeting new people. So the more positive you stay, the more upbeat you'll be, the more solutions you'll try to find, and also on top of that, the more areas of opportunity you'll slowly start to find. And guess what? You start doing all these things that we've said previously as tools, you're going to slowly start to realize that, wow, I've changed my habits, I've put my priorities in check, I've done all these things to change myself internally, which is the lesson I think that we should have all learned from 2020. You know, nobody could go out, and, you know, everybody was missing their loved ones. So I think it's just a point of how do we change ourselves internally. So,
yeah. No, I mean, that's true too. Like, you know, even in my darkest of days, like, I feel like, and I was telling you this before, I was like, you know, I always felt like I would be here. Like, I would make it. You know, it was close. It was close as fuck. But it's like, I always in my mind said, I believe I can do it. And I think if you've been around me, you know, like, when I say like a big goal, and if you know me since high school, I normally do what I'm saying I'll do, right? So like, I always have in my mind, like, I'm gonna do this. I don't care how long it takes, I don't care how much I fall, but I'm gonna do it. And my goal was really to live outside of America. Didn't work in the Netherlands, because, you know, they got all the, it's a small country and it's kind of hard to get the visa and stuff. But here, if you're American, you can get a tourist visa on site.
Yep.
And then you can get your residence visa from that. So like, what you got? 40 days? Something like that? Like 40 days?
Tourist visa, before COVID, I want to say was 90 days.
Okay.
And you could do what they call a border run, which you could go to Oman, which is the next country to the east. Beautiful country. And you can get your passport stamped and then come right back.
Yeah.
So I actually did that, and even from the opportunity of being prior military, I actually, before I came out here, was expecting a child and didn't have a job, and I had bills to pay.
Facts.
And I'll tell you what, that's pretty nerve-wracking. So once I kept on pushing to kind of get the job out here, getting in touch with all the, guys that I used to work with, networking, doing my homework, staying up late, not on my phone but on my laptop, doing my homework. The more research that you put in, the further you're going to put yourself.
And it takes time.
It does take time. It's a grind.
Yes, it takes time. You're not going to get instant results.
Yes.
You're not. That's what I try to tell people.
Same thing as a weight room. Same thing as a weight
room. But you're going to go in there and do a couple reps, boom, I'm 250.
Right.
No. And what he was saying earlier is so true. You got to put in the work, but at the same time, you got to understand if you have not learned anything from COVID, you have to know that there are a lot of things that are out of your control. You are only in control of 2/3 of things that happen to you in life. That is that 1/3 is COVID. But what you can do is understand that each brick, right?
Yeah.
Oh damn, the brick fell off. Oh, but each brick.
Keep moving. Yeah.
Yes. So very, very good point.
The longest journey started off with a single footstep.
Facts.
So again, slow and steady wins the race. It's so true. It is cheesy. From the rabbit and the hare.
Cliche.
It is so cliche. But sometimes the reason that they're cliche is because it's like art imitating life, life imitating art, however you want to balance it. But I think the thing is too is if everybody's listening on this and just kind of paying attention to what we're saying, is that it's possible. Shit may seem very bleak. Shit may seem very, very dark,
I know it is.
But sometimes things are darkest just before the dawn. And when I say that, don't give up. Keep staying on the grind. Keep doing what you're supposed to do and not what you want to do.
Right.
Everybody wants to go out to the restaurant. Everybody wants to go out to the bar, to the pub, and all these things. But it's not living within your means. Again, another touching point that we talked on. And that is the main focal point. I've learned a lot of cool things from people from England, from Ireland, from Scotland, from countries in Africa, many countries in Europe, just all walks of people from different countries. And you slowly start to realize there are certain approaches to certain things. Because again, sometimes knowledge isn't just about what you read in a book. Anybody can do that. Hey, I can read a book and then regurgitate it right back to you. That's not really knowledge. That's just memorizing. Knowledge, in my opinion, from what I've learned, is it all comes down to timing. Knowing when to strike at the right moment. And if you stay on the grind, your opportunity is going to come at the door.
That's so true. So many people were worried about me going to Russia. I went to Russia last year, or not last year, 2 years ago now, 2019. And my homeboy Eddie, shout out my boy Eddie, he's in some of my travel videos. He wanted to go. I was like, fuck it, I'll go. And I knew that I needed to take that opportunity. And I met a lot of the Russian people, and we were actually standing in the middle of one of their, their demonstrations. And I met some of the coolest people, and we were in the newspaper, all that stuff. And it was like, people respect America, man. Like, they respect America, even through our worst, darkest moments and stuff. They respect the American spirit.
Because we're still here.
We are, yeah, exactly.
We're still here, baby.
Exactly. And
right.
And I'm not saying we do everything right, but I'm hard on America because, I just feel like we could just improve in ways that I feel like we could improve and not get in our own way so much. And that's really the big thing. Not being
your own worst enemy. That's the kicker.
Yeah,
totally is.
Yeah,
and totally is.
And I feel like, just even some of the things I've been through, I feel like it may seem like I'm getting in my own way, but I'm really not. It's like some of the things in the system just have to change for people to be able to just help the entire system. But I think they're just set up that way.
And not even drastically either. Yeah. Like you said, sometimes it's just a small tweak.
Yeah.
It's just a small tweak because again, how you may see something, I may see it differently, or vice versa.
We were talking about black and white before.
Right, correct. There's a lot of gray. There's a lot of gray in there. And I think the thing is that, what we're trying to say is that you don't have to come out here and live out here the rest of your life, or go live in Russia the rest of your life. Because essentially, I'm saving money to, buy into my own successful system. I want to be able to be my own boss.
Right.
I don't want to work for other people's money. I want my money to work for me.
Facts.
And that is the biggest kicker. And involving yourself into small time real estate, buying up on small, duplex houses. Even looking outside of the box too. There's other places in different countries you can look at in real estate. But again, you have to follow the rules and regulations, go through the hoops, the game within the game. And I think realistically, once I do that, it's kind of like I've stepped away from my home to ultimately be able to provide as a single father, and then still come back to the States and say, look, I've got, beachfront in Cape Cod, Massachusetts, beautiful. I've got an Airbnb, which is another venue you guys can look into, is Airbnbs. That's the new thing that's taken off. Even these, what's it called? The tiny homes. That's another big thing that's taken off. Yeah, efficiency, right?
Especially
so you can, and I think they said that one of the tiny homes starting off was like $35,000. Now, if you think about that, right off the bat, everyone's saying to themselves, probably, I don't have $35,000 to give. Okay, fine, I'll go with you there. But the average cost of that new car that you want is anywhere from $30,000 to $42,000. So again, are you willing to take risks? And this is a big key to focus on. If you're not going to take risks in life, just expect everything to just be very cut and dry. I'm going through the motions, I have a job, and it's just going to plateau constantly.
You're going to have resentment.
Exactly. And you're going to have a lot of resentment and regret as well.
Yeah.
And that's not how you want to live.
Too dangerous.
It's better. Look, it's better that I would take a risk and know that I failed, but at least I took the risk. Everything is going to be a crapshoot. Hey, you might hit 7, you might hit 11, but guess what? You just might hit snake eyes. But you know what, though? You stepped up to the plate and you took it like an adult. Yeah. So, again, just going back and just touching on the topic, you can invest in a tiny home, rent that out. Within a couple years, you've already paid off that $30 some odd thousand, dollars, and then now you're the owner of this Airbnb. And certain seasons are going to, take off and go off more than they should. Yeah. So I think realistically, it's just going to be about financially keeping things in check. Because I'm stepping away, and I'm also going to be stepping back. But it's almost like you're kind of going into the cocoon to kind of hatch yourself into this butterfly, if you will.
Or if you like football, it's almost like we call the play, we do the play, come back to the huddle. We do the play, come back to the huddle.
Exactly, the same thing.
That's okay.
You gotta readjust. Sometimes you just gotta readjust.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. So I think in saying that is, you just gotta be able to understand that it's okay to fail, it's okay to make mistakes, and it's okay in life for you to take a step back.
Right.
Because it's that famous quote, of sometimes you have to fail in order to succeed. Yeah, that's kind of true, and it's kind of not. I'm not saying you have to fail, but I'm saying don't be afraid to. Because in life and in sports, if you're afraid to make a mistake, you're gonna make the mistake. But I'm not going to eat your lunch if you're going 100%, you're grinding on the daily, and you're constantly giving your all, and then you mess up. I'm not going to eat your freaking lunch for that.
Yeah. You know the thing that has helped me to reach my goals is to have the guts not to delete stuff that you have as a personal project. Like when I started making music, I do music, I do travel videos. This is my 4th podcast. I'm really excited. It's here. A lot of y'all see me talk by myself, but it's nice to have another person here that has another dynamic. But to have the faith to just put it out there and see what happens. I used to delete my lyrics. I recorded an international track in the Netherlands, recorded music in America. I'm gonna record music here. I got some big projects coming up. You have to just put it out there, you know. And at the time, it wasn't always great for me to put stuff out. You know, things happen, but just being able to just try. Just try. Don't listen to the noise. Don't listen to people tell you that it ain't gonna work and somebody's already doing it. And bruh, there's Instagram and Facebook. Okay, they're basically the same thing. Okay, so just do it. You know, don't listen to the noise, man. Do not listen to the noise because, you know, like me and my brother talk about all the time. He has a company. We say focus on the yeses, not the no's, because you're gonna hear a lot more no's. You're gonna hear a lot more no's.
Yeah.
So you gotta push through the no's. And I kind of rapped about that in my song "Keep Watching." But like, you gotta push through the no's, because that one note, that last note that you push through, could be a big ass yes.
Yeah, 100%.
It could change your life. Old Town Road came out, right? Bruh, one song. This dude probably ain't gonna do nothing else.
Yep.
So yeah, anything else you want to say? Like, I think we got our talking points pretty good.
Yeah, I think we did. I think we did pretty well. And just as like a kind of, you know, a takeaway from all this is that, you know, every single one of you guys listening out there has every single opportunity to turn everything around, whether or not you're in the dumps or whether or not you're having a good life. You have an ability to make things better, whether or not it's here or whether or not it's still in the States. There are many avenues to further research how to make your life better. You literally have an operating system on your phone that has more technology than when astronauts landed on the moon.
Sure.
This phone is more technologically advanced than the damn shuttle.
And we don't appreciate that, do we? Because it's so
because we use it for
yeah.
mind-numbing information.
Yeah.
You know, I think if you replace some of the apps that you have with maybe trying to learn a new language, or even maybe better yet, trying to learn a new trade, which is a very big thing. Because again, I do think that school is important, but I also think it's a trap system to try and get you into a loan. That's another thing you guys want to stay away from. Stay away from loans. Okay?
Yes,
if you're gonna get a loan, do it as an investment, not as a want or a need. Do it as an investment. That's what I say to you guys. So the biggest thing to take away from that is that, and I'm sorry I'm stuttering. I'm just
no, dude. They listen to me every day. They listen to me every day.
But I think the biggest thing to take away from it is that there is other avenues in life. There's always going to be something that's better. I'm not saying that everything's greener on the other side of the grass. I'm just saying that, again,
that's huge.
Be aware of your surroundings and be mindful of everything. Because, as I said before, the more you start to internalize with your problems and everything around you, chances are you're going to slowly start to change your habits like we were talking about, and you're really going to start to progress. The more that we sit here, and I did it as a teenager, blaming my problems on other people, which is how I ended up freaking homeless before my 21st birthday. So you have to really internalize and fix yourself.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, it's funny, like we both talk about being homeless and stuff, and like, you know, there's nothing wrong with holding people accountable, even if it's not you. But like the thing is like sometimes it may be a situation where, you know, maybe you didn't do anything, but I think that there's always still a lesson at the end of the day. There's always still a lesson. And I know with me, you know, I wasn't particularly in a good place because it was like, damn, I'm in this quicksand. All I'm trying to do is just get better. I'm in this quicksand. Like I never knew 1 + 1 = 11. Like, you know what I'm saying? Nobody told me 1 + 1 = 11 in some situations. And
it's that new age math.
Yeah, that's that new shit. And here I am taking Calc 1, 2, 3 physics, and I know 1 + 1 = 11, but you know it's 11. Okay, well I since I got the problem wrong, now I gotta be homeless. But the main point is, you know, I know with me, I know that it's gonna take some time, and I know that changing my environment has definitely helped my energy. And I think that a lot of the times on social media, the reason why I like doing the podcast is because if I write something long in a post, it comes across like I'm fucking yelling. I'm not fucking yelling. How you gonna yell silently?
Or you're talking at the audience, you know what I mean, rather than to them.
Right, exactly. So yeah, and today, you know, I'm just a fan of direct communication. That's why I'm sitting right here.
Yep.
And I know that by bringing people on here, it's gonna have. Sometimes you get viewed in a totally different way. You know what I'm saying? And like, I know you like 3-4 days, maybe like a week.
Yeah.
And look how we just connected.
Right.
And so you know.
It's about putting the black and white shit to rest. My God, it's 2021 and we're still on this shit.
Yeah.
We're still on this shit.
Yeah, bro. It's crazy. It's almost like being mad at somebody for like having a black car and a white car.
It's like being mad at the sky for being blue. You're gonna just always fucking be mad at it.
I'm fucking done. I'm done. That's a good point.
It's just so ridiculous. Like, we can be better than this, and everyone in the States can be better.
Yeah.
I think that's why it's so frustrating, because the opportunity and the potential is completely there. So the black and white thing, it's gotta get put to rest.
Yeah.
It just has to, in order to move forward.
It doesn't mean we get rid of history. I think history is good, but
of course,
bro, we human, bro. We human. Let's understand each other. But Charles,
peace, love,
teammate. Can we show him the Stallions helmet? Real quick?
Yeah. It was the Stallions, now it's the Spartans.
Oh, it's Spartans. Okay, so
Yeah,
we're going to be on the same football
Dubai
team, so I just wanted to show y'all that real quick. He's going to be my teammate, so I'm really excited about being able to play.
So this is my helmet. Dubai Spartans. Pretty much the same as the Michigan State, Spartans as well, just a different color change. But yeah, it's a good helmet. It's a shut, and it's the new age shuts with the concussion proof.
Nice.
So again, it's definitely a moving forward as far as everything equipment wise.
Yeah.
So
new gear coming out soon. This is Live, episode 4 done. Black Male Geniuses podcast. We out of here. Deuces.
Peace.